Hello, welcome all to the another session of Food and Turnaround. Today we'll be learning a little bit basics about respiratory system and physiology. As such, I've taken very chosen topic which are so important as examination point of view so that we can go for a quick review, right? Yes. So the first thing is about the muscles of inspiration and expiration. So you have to know one thing. Okay, first we'll just learn, then we'll go with mnemonics, right? See, during inspiration, okay, during inspiratory muscles or your diaphragm and external intercostals. These are muscles which work when you're in resting inspiration, when there is a normal inspiration. Right now, right now we are having a normal inspiration. So that is a resting inspiration is taken part by your diaphragm and external intercostals. Whereas if there is a forced inspiration, your accessory muscles take play. Okay, when there is a forced inspiration, there is a accessory muscles take play. Now, what are those? For example, your sternocleidomastoid, your scalene, your pectoralis minor, your anterior serratus, all these muscles take part. Whereas in contradictory, in expiration, as expiration is a passive process, right? Resting expiration is a passive process. Okay, basically what inspiration is, you take in air, right? You take in air, so your lung expands, right? While you give expiration, that is a recoil tendency. Basically, that's a recoil tendency, right? You just recoil stuff. So it's a recoil tendency. It's a recoil tendency of the lung. The muscle to take parts are abdominal muscles and internal intercostal muscles. Okay. Now you have to know one thing: how to remember these muscles. Simple. Inspiratory. When it comes to inspiratory and expiratory, right? Expiratory. We have two muscles, two different concepts in which you have to remember muscles. When it comes to inspiratory, remember E, opposite. I for E and E for I, right? I for E and E for I. So I is E, so it's external intercostal muscles. When it comes to expiratory, it's internal intercostal muscles. Okay, one more muscle which you have to remember as of such is your with external intercostal, which is your diaphragm, and with internal intercostal, which is your abdominal muscle. Abdominal muscle. Okay, clear? So this is what your muscle which you have to know. This is what's important. Okay, in this session we'll be adding. I have added 2 to 3 questions, I guess, like a quiz, so that we can have a recall of what we are reading, right? So before I go to quiz, let's revise what is what. So inspiratory muscles are your external intercostals and your diaphragm, and expiratory muscles are your internal intercostal and your abdominalis. Clear? External intercostal diaphragm, internal intercostal abdominal muscle. Now you have what you have to know is your this examples for your for a forced inspiration. You have to know the sternocleidomastoid, scalene, pectoralis minor, and your anterior serratus also take part. Just know this much as a concept. Now let's go to question. This is a simple question as of such. Okay, it's not that much complicated. The question is: a 25-year-old medical student participated in 10-kilometer charity run according to American Heart Association. You can put whatever association you want. Which muscle does the student use to contract during expiration? Student used to contract during expiration. He's asking which muscles is used for expiration as such. We saw E is I, right? For opposite E is I. So it's internal intercostal. With internal intercostal, what is another muscle which we read? It's your abdominal muscle. So you have these two muscles taking part, right? So your internal intercostal and your abdominal muscles taking part during expiration. Simple. So you got to know about muscles. So first topic is about muscle. It's over. And next is your this one, your so-called normal intrapleural pressures. Okay, you have to know this. It's very important. You have to know your normal intrapleural pressures. Okay, this is important. Your normal intrapleural pressures are important to be noted. Now, just concentrate on this graph, this one. Okay, let's start. what we do first is inspiration. Okay, in inspiration we have beginning, right? We have start of inspiration, we have end of inspiration, which we all know. So once you start inspiration, once you start inhaling, right, once you start inspiration, okay, what is your volume, or what is thing which you have to remember is, once you start to inspiration, it is your minus 2 mm G. Okay, once you start your inspiration, so minus 2 mmHg. So basically how it starts, it's like this. So this is where you start your inspiration. Okay, this is where you start your inspiration. It's a minus 2 mmHg. Okay, now once you end your inspiration, it's around how much? Minus 6 mmHg. This is where you end. So you start around here and you go on. So you start around here, you start and you go on and you end here. So it's minus, actually I'll just draw another graph. So this is how you start. You start here and you go on, you end here. So this is your end of inspiration. Okay, that's a minus 6 mmHg. Clear? Next, once inspiration is over, next is expiration. Expiration we have start and end. Clear? Now see, I'll take another color. From where your inspiration ends, your expiration starts. That's normal, right? Once you end your inspiration, you start expiring your air. So it starts around from minus 6 mm Hg. So it starts from minus 6 mm Hg. Your expiration starts from minus 6 mm Hg. Okay, it starts, it goes up, and it ends here. Okay, and it ends in minus 2 mm Hg. Simple. Okay, so from where your inspiration ends, your expiration starts. So from where your expiration ends, your inspiration starts. So that's a cycle, right? That's how the cycle works. Starts and starts. And so just remember this one. When your inspiration starts, it's around minus 2 mmHg, and when it's end, it's around minus 6 mmHg. When the expiration starts, it's around minus 6 mmHg, and it ends when it's around minus 2 mmHg. So this is one concept which you have to know. As of said, this is important concept. They have been asking many questions on this. And one more thing which I would like you to know is your relation between your atmospheric pressure and your lung, right? See, when your atmospheric pressure is equal to lung pressure, okay, when your atmospheric pressure is equal, first and foremost, your lung is just imagine your lung is a sponge filled with the air. That's it. Okay, when your atmospheric pressure is equal to your lung pressure, there is no exchange of gases. It's completely nil. But when your atmospheric pressure is greater than your lung pressure, when your atmospheric pressure is greater than your lung pressure, then the diffusion happens, then the exchange happens. So what happens? From atmosphere lung, the air goes from atmosphere to lung. That process is known as inspiration. And when the vice versa happens, when your lung pressure is greater than your atmospheric pressure, then your expiration happens. So this is what happens. This is what basically happens. Okay, so this table you guys have to know. So this is an important table so that you guys understand what is what. Clear? And this values. Yes, this is another quite simple values which I would like you guys to know is this one. Okay, what is Muller's maneuver? First and foremost, before knowing its value, let's see what's Muller's maneuver. See, Muller's maneuver is when you do force inspiration, okay, when there is a forced inspiration and the glottis is closed, forced inspiration and the closed glottis, there is certain intrapleural pressure is there, right? There is certain intrapleural pressure that is known as Muller's. How much it is? It's minus 70 mm Hg. Okay, at the end of force expiration, how much it will be? It will be around minus 30 mm Hg. Fine. Now see, at the end of forced expiration, this is normal without anything, but this is when when valves are Valsalva maneuver is at the end of forced expiration with with closed glottis is around plus 50 mm Hg. This is also an important MCQ to be noted. Clear? So we saw how this in this we saw our intrapleural pressure, how it works at start of inspiration, how much, at the end of inspiration, how much, how this graph works. I'll send you another graph. This graph is a little bit topsy curvy. I'll just send you another graph. But if you can understand this graph, it's great. Okay, it's actually this areas they have minus. For example, this is minus 7.5, right? And this is minus around minus 1 to 2. It's minus 1.5. So they get a value there. So they have just calculated a complete pleural pressure in this. But a single curve diagram would be very helpful. I'll find if there is single curve diagram in certain website and or a book, and I'll send you guys. Okay, that would be better. And this is what your Muller's maneuver at the end of force expiration and your Valsalva maneuver, and you have to know this. Okay, I don't know why did I left this space. Okay, next, this is super duper important thing which you guys must know. Oxygen dissociation curve is a must know topic. You can't leave this, you can't skip this oxygen dissociation curve topic. Okay, now uh, yes, first and foremost, before knowing oxygen dissociation, yes, for that only left this space, I got it. So you have to know one thing. Your HP is combined with oxygen and they carry, right? Your HP is combined with oxygen and they carry towards your various organs. This is what happens normally. So now each HB, you should know each HB contains 4 oxygen molecules. Now you may ask how 4 oxygen molecules, because each HB contains 4 chains, right? 2 alpha and 2 beta. So 2 alpha and 2 beta, so therefore each chain contains one oxygen molecule, so therefore 4 oxygen molecules as of such. Now, what is partial pressure? What is partial pressure? What does partial pressure mean? Okay, so partial pressure is nothing but the pressure of gas, means how much gas, sorry, gas is like yes, how much O2 is available in blood. So that is known as partial pressure. Simple. How much O2 is available in blood is known as my partial pressure. Now, which means if there is increased O2 in the blood, if there is increased O2 in blood, which will lead to increased partial pressure. Increased O2 will lead to increased partial pressure. Now, with this derivative, we came to a concept called as oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. Clear? Now, what is right shift and what is left shift? Clear? Now, right shift. If you want to say something, right shift is when O2 is less bounded to HB, it will lead to right shift. Now what does it mean? Partial pressure is lower. Okay, when the O2 is less bounded to H2, it will lead to right shift. Now where will this O2 go? If it is less bounded to HB, then where will this O2 go? This O2 will be taken up by tissues will take this O2. Clear? That's where your right shift happens. Now if I say right shift means the affinity of decrease, that's what your decrease affinity for O2. HB has, when they talk about affinity, they are relating with HB. Okay, in this they are saying HB's affinity is decreased towards O2. Clear? HB's affinity is decreased towards O2. So when there's a right shift, for example, there's a right shift, the HB affinity is decreased towards O2, there, which means there will be increased PCO2. Okay, when there's increased PCO2, there is increased H plus ion, which means acidosis. Patient will be having acidosis. Patient will be leading to increased 2,3 DPG. Patient will be having increased temperature. Okay, so this is what happens. No, there is a mnemonic for this. Whenever it's a right, okay, right or R, so everything rises. Okay, when it's right R, so everything rises. So it's rise PCO2, rise H plus, Rise to 3 dph, rise temperature, raised H plus. It's not raised pH. pH is decreased, but H plus is raised. Okay, pH is decreased, H plus is raised. Okay, you have to know H plus is raised, H plus is raised, which means acidic. Okay, not your pH is not raised. If pH is raised, which means it's basic, right? So your H plus is raised industry. Just know, right means everything is rises. Now, in contradictory to what? Left shift, right? What is left shift? When Hb has high affinity towards oxygen, that is known as left shift. When will this left shift happen? See, fetal hemoglobin HbF, you can see in this condition when there's a left shift. Okay, when lungs you can see there is a left shift. Okay, clear? Now see, when there's increased affinity for O2, there will be left shift. Now see, left, 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 everything comes down. Left is low, so everything comes down. So low PCO2, low H plus, low 2,3 pH, low temperature, and it's in HPF. So whatever it say, it's completely opposite. Clear? Simple to remember. Left means low, right means rise, and you got a basic concept also. What is partial pressure? What is affinity towards oxygen means? Okay. What is affinity towards hemoglobin means? This is basics. This is the basics which you have to know. Once you know this, you can solve some questions. So here you can see the question says the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve shifts either to right or left according to various factors, which we know. We know what are factors. Shift to right indicates dissociation of hemoglobin. Shift to right indicates dissociation of oxygen from hemoglobin. They have given answer. Shift to right means dissociation of oxygen to hemoglobin. Which of the following factors will shift the curve to right? The question is, which of the following factors will shift the curve to right? Now, see, decrease in partial, we'll see all the 5 factors one by one. Decrease in partial pressure of oxygen. Okay. If there is decrease in partial pressure of oxygen, there will be increase in partial pressure of CO2. If there is increase in partial pressure of CO2, the curve will shift to right. Increase in partial pressure of CO2. Of course, as I said, if there is increase in partial pressure of CO2, the curve will shift to right. Decrease in hydrogen concentration. Decrease in hydrogen concentration means it will be shift to left because it's decreased, no? Decreased. Increase in pH. Increase in pH means again it's decreased in hydrogen concentration, it is left. Increase in body temperature. Increase in body temperature means the curve will shift to right. Clear? So simple question. This is simple question. Yes. Okay, this one. This question is important. Read this question carefully, okay, as this question is a little bit important to be noted, and yes, to know it. The given graph shows an oxygen dissociation curve for hemoglobin. Where in the body will hemoglobin will saturated at percentage shown at the points 1, 2, 3 in the graph. Okay? Clear? 1, 2, 3. They are asking that 1, 2, 3 in the graph. Clear? And let me say something. 3 is where there is high saturation. Okay? 3 is where there is high saturation. I'm just giving you time to think so that we can move on further. Okay. Now see, I'll just say you something, just keep this in your brain. See, the hemoglobin is more saturated with oxygen in pulmonary vein. Okay, in pulmonary vein. Why? Why in pulmonary vein? Because pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. In pulmonary vein, why? Because pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. Okay, therefore the saturation is higher in there. The saturation is very good in the pulmonary vein. Okay. Now, from pulmonary vein, it come back to lungs towards the left ventricle of heart. From pulmonary vein, it comes to left ventricle of heart. Clear? Sorry, left. left auricle of heart. From left auricle of heart, it moves to left ventricle. It moves to left ventricle. Okay. So I should have given options here, but yes. Now, Semi, by saying this, what do you think the path path 3 will be? What will be 3 now? The 3 shows highest concentration of oxygen, right? Highest concentration. So the highest concentration will be pulmonary vein. 2 is medium. So medium will be left auricle. 1 is left ventricle. Okay, clear? So let me see again. The hemoglobin is highly saturated in pulmonary vein because it carries the oxygen towards from the it carries oxygen, right? Pulmonary vein carries oxygen from the lungs towards the left auricle of heart. From left auricle, it passes to your left ventricle. So therefore, once it passes, the oxygen saturation decreases accordingly. Clear? So therefore, 3 is right. That means 3 is pulmonary vein, left auricle, and left ventricle. Clear? And what is Bose and Haldane effect? This is such beautiful concept, Bose and Haldane effect. I'll say mnemonic at the end, but as of now, we'll say what is Haldane's and Bohr effect. See, when it comes to concept of Haldane's effect, it occurs basically in lung. Just remember, it occurs basically in lung. That is your alveoli of lung where it occurs. Okay, what basically it is? When there is high O2 level in your lung, where there is high O2 level, it promotes a release of CO2. It promotes a release of CO2 from where? From RBC. Now let's see the mechanism. When there is high O2 level, okay, when there is high O2 level, there is dissociation of H plus ions. Clear? So now when there is a dissociation of H plus ions, it will lead to release of CO2. Clear? Now this is known as your Haldane's effect. When there is high O2 level in alveoli, it promotes CO2 release from RBC. Okay. Now could you just relate this one? This high O2 level, it promotes CO2 level in RBC. It's an alveoli. Whereas, could you relate with oxygen dissociation curve? Then where the curve will shift? The curve will shift to left, no? The curve will shift to left now. Okay, just remember in that way, the curve will shift to left because it's happening in alveoli as of such. Okay, and alveoli, it's releasing CO2. It's releasing CO2, right? So this is what happens. This is what about your Haldane effect. Mnemonic for this is H is for A, Haldane. H is for A. So A is for alveoli. Alveoli is in lung. So lung, when there is high O2 level in lung, it promotes CO2 release from RBC. So it's left shift. Now what is Bohr's effect? Bohr's effect basically happens in tissues or organs. Okay, tissues or organs. What is Bohr's effect? When there is high CO2 level in peripheral tissues. When in peripheral tissues there are high amount of CO2, it promotes a release of O2. When there is high CO2, it promotes a release of O2 from the RBC. That is known as Bohr's effect. Now, this oxygen will go to tissue only. Okay. That's what happens in peripheral tissue. Increase concentration of H plus ions. Okay, increased concentration of H plus ions from the tissue metabolism promotes unloading. Means it promotes a unloading of O2 from HB. It promotes a unloading of O2 from HB. Okay, so therefore this will lead to Bohr's effect. Now this will lead to right shift in the oxygen dissociation curve as of such. Now how to remember this? Bohr, BO. So O is for organs, organ is for tissues. When it comes to tissue, it's O2 increase H plus, and this concept you have to remember as such. Now let me come back again to Haldane's effect. Haldane's effect basically happens in your alveoli or in your lung. What is it? When there is a high O2 level in your alveoli, it promotes a release of CO2. Just remember, high O2 level in alveoli, it promotes a release of CO2 from the RBC. That is what your Haldane effect is. What is Bohr's effect? when there is a high CO2 level. In this, there is high CO2 level in peripheral tissues, which promotes a release of O2 from the RBC. Clear? In haltenes, it promotes a level of it promotes a release of CO2 due to the high level of O2. In Bohr's, it promotes a release of O2 because high level of CO2. Bohr's effect is basically related to the right shift of the dissociation curve, and Halden's effect is basically related to your left shift of your dissociation curve. Clear? The next is your hypoxias. These hypoxias are important, very much important to be noted. Hypoxia, because if you ask me about questions in hypoxia, there are lots of questions in hypoxia, which has been seen, which is seen nowadays in examination pattern or something, some as such. So it's a little bit important. So let's start. Let's start with hypoxia. Okay, then we'll go by one. What is hypoxia? Oxic means oxygen, okay, which means PO2 level is reduced. Okay, PO2 level is reduced. Rest all are normal. And what is the efficacy? What is the efficacy of O2 therapy? Oxygen is reduced. If I give O2, of course, 100% efficacy, 100% the patient will be fine. That is what hypoxia. Clear? Done. Now, what is anemic hypoxia? In anemic hypoxia, your O2 is normal. In anemic hypoxia, your PO2 is normal, okay, but your HB level, your hemoglobin, arterial hemoglobin content is reduced, okay. Now, when your arterial hemoglobin content is reduced, what will happen to your oxygen carrying capacity? That will also reduce. That will also be reduced. Velocity of blood flow, everything is normal here. Normal. Now, what is the treatment of choice? Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Clear? And next is your stagnant hypoxia. In stagnant hypoxia, everything is normal except your velocity. That's why it's stagnant. It is stagnant. It's stagnant. No, it's getting slow. Means velocity is reduced. The rest everything is normal. Okay. And the treatment of choice is again hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Clear? And what about your histotoxic hypoxia? Histotoxic means tissues are the problem, no? Histotoxic is tissues are the problem, so everything else is normal. The problem is with the tissues, therefore there is reduced level of hypoxia in the tissues. Okay. So reduced utilization of oxygen in the tissues, and there is, if you give oxygen therapy at all, this will not work. Okay, that's what you have to know. Now, once you know this tabular column is super duper important. Okay, once you know this tabular column, it's all about done. But still, to make your concept more clear, let me go this way. Let's start one by one. Hypoxia, we know there is decrease in PO2, right? Where you can see this just remember some examples where I can see this hypoxia. It can see the altitude. When you go in high altitudes, when you climb high altitudes, you can see this hypoxia. You can see in hypoventilation cases. In hypoventilation cases, you can see this when there is ventilation perfusion ratio. When there is a ventilation perfusion ratio imbalance, you can see this. Okay, so all this stuff you can do it. Now, as after the treatment, as I said, there is 100% oxygen therapy as a good treatment, but you can give erythropoietin also. Okay, you can give erythropoietin as also. That means the compensatory changes. What I'm saying is there will be hyperventilation, erythropoietin, and there will be increase in 2,3-DPG. Hyperventilation, erythropoietin, and increased ventilation of 2,3-DPG. Clear? Done. Anemic hypoxia, everything is good, but your hemoglobin is a problem here. Therefore, the carrying capacity goes off to 6. Right? Clear? Now, stagnant hypoxia. In stagnant hypoxia, there's stasis of blood. Okay. So That's what is stagnant hypoxia. And histotoxic hypoxia, what is the problem? See what happens basically in histotoxic hypoxia. Did I have pages here? Uh, Listen. See, your intracellular mitochondrial cytochrome is poison. Intracellular intracellular mitochondrial cytochrome. Okay, intracellular mitochondrial cytochrome system is poisoned. When this is poisoned, there is no O2 uptake. There is no O2 uptake. Okay, this would lead to venous PO2 almost equal to arterial PO2. Now your venous PO2 will be equal to arterial PO2. In this condition, the venous PO2 will be equal to arterial PO2. Okay, with the least coefficient of difference, with the least coefficients of difference. So that would lead to your histotoxic hypoxia. This is basic mechanism in your histotoxic hypoxia. Just remember your intracellular mitochondrial, okay, intracellular mitochondrial cytochrome system is poison and histotoxic hypoxia. Clear? So this is about hypoxia. Then just remember all this stuff. How has histotoxic, anemic, stagnant, and histotoxic hypoxic works. Hypoxic, anemic, stagnant, and histotoxic. And what these parameters are important. Your PO2, your HB, your O2 carrying capacity of the blood, your velocity of the blood flow, your utilization of O2 by tissues, your efficiency of O2 with therapy, all these parameters are important. Okay, just remember these parameters. And yes, this one, the next one which you see here is your lung volume capacity. This lung volume capacity has such another important question which you should know. Okay, lung volume capacity. Okay, let me start. Everybody be relaxed, clear. Now, once you start breathing normally, without any hindrance, once we start breathing normally, what you see now? What you see now? Once you start breathing normally, without any hindrance, what you see now? Any idea? What do you see now? Once we're normal, we're breathing normally now. So what we see? Think once. I'm just giving time for you to think. Just think once. What is what? That is your tidal volume. Hey, that's your tidal volume. Clear? Tidal volume is usually address your normal. Your life is going very good. When your life is going very good, I could call it as this is what it is. So tidal volume. Okay. Clear? Now tidal volume. What is now tidal? What is tidal volume capacity? How much is your tidal volume? Excuse me. How to switch off this mic, please? Yes. How to how much is your tidal volume? Your tidal volume is around 500 ml. Clear? That is what your tidal volume. Now, what is your inspiratory lung volume? What is your inspiratory lung volume? See, when you are taking breath normally, that is your tidal volume. But when you inspire beyond this, normal rest level, when you inspire beyond the normal rest level, that is known as inspiratory reserve volume. You inspire you inspire the volume beyond the normal rest level, that is known as inspiratory reserve volume. What is inspiratory reserve volume? 3100 ml beyond the normal level. Same like inspiratory reserve volume, when you inspire, we have expiratory reserve volume, which you can expire, means which you can do expiration, right? Expire beyond the restful expiration is known as expiratory reserve volume. How much it is? It's 1200 ml. Above this, we have residual volume. Okay, after you do maximum expiration, the lung keeps certain amount of volume to itself, certain amount of volume inside itself, that is known as a residual volume. That's around 1200 ml. As of such, it's around 1200 ml. Clear? I'm just checking is if the volume is going good or not, because it's really a long session which is going on, and if there is some problem in the volume, and I'm gone. Okay, you got it. What is what? What is tidal volume? When only you have to know these four parameters now. Rest I will teach. Rest I'll say. Now just know these four basic parameters. When what is the tidal volume? There's the respiration which we are doing now. Normally we are breathing now. That is known as the tidal volume, which is your 500. Okay, clear. What is the inspiratory reserve volume? Above the restful level when you inspire, that is known as inspiratory reserve volume. That is a 3100. What is expiratory reserve volume? Expiratory reserve volume is above the volume which you can means above the normal expiration when you expire forcefully. That is known as your expiratory reserve volume. That is it's around 1100, 1200. Just keep around 1200. That would be 1100, 1200. Just remember that much. Okay. Now what is the residual volume? The residual volume is your lung keeps certain amount of capacity to itself. Okay, for safety purpose. We don't know what purpose it is. It just keep by for itself. Okay, that is known as your residual volume. Okay, that is also around 1100 to 1200 ml. Clear? Now once you know this big stuff, okay, uh, it's around, so it's for convenience let's keep this as around 1100. That would be better, so that in calculation we don't get any hit. So this is what it is. Now we'll just see when we add this value there are certain capacities. Okay, for example, I want my inspiration capacity. How will you know your inspiration capacity? Very simple. When your tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volume is your inspiratory capacity. Okay, now you have to know your forced respiratory capacity. Forced respiratory capacity, how much you will know? ERV means expiratory reserve volume plus residual volume. Now you should know vital capacity. How will you know? Your TV plus IRV plus ERV. When you want to know total lung capacity, you will add all TV plus IRV plus ERV plus RV. You'll get. This is the concept of your lung volume. Simple. Just you have to know these guys, these four guys. You should know clearly. Once you know these four guys clearly, you'll do this automatically. You'll do this very spontaneously. You'll do this. Clear? Okay. Now there's a question. Now the question says, uh, yes, tidal volume and he's saying tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume of an athlete is 500 ml and 1000 ml respectively. What will be his expiratory capacity if the residual volume is given? Also residual volume is 1200 ml. Take your time, think for a while. Okay, I'll just come back. I'll just come to answer. Okay. Because in this there are two new concepts which I want you guys to know. So therefore, let's hold on for a while. You just think for answer what it could be. What could be this expiratory reserve capacity? Because you know what is inspiration capacity. You know what is force residual capacity FRC. You know what is vital capacity. You know what is total lung capacity. Now what is this expiratory capacity? Okay, the answer for this is C. Your expiratory capacity, the formula for expiratory capacity is your tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. Okay, tidal volume plus your expiratory reserve volume is your expiratory capacity. So what it would be? It would surround 500, which is tidal volume, plus your reserve volume, which is around 1200 sorry, expiratory reserve volume, which is around 1000 ml, which is your 1500 ml. Right? Clear? Now what if they ask you FRC, forced residual capacity? What will be your FRC, forced residual capacity? Forced residual capacity is 1000 plus 1200 ml. That is your ERV plus RV, which is around 2200 ml. Yeah, got it? Wait, ERV they given 100 or what? Year is 1000, right? Year is 1000. Sorry, year is 1000. 1000, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Year is 1000, it's not 100. Year is 1000. So it's around 1000 plus 1200 ml, it's your 2200 ml. Clear? It's clear. So this is what about basics, which I wanted you guys to know. A little bit up and down. And yes, if you have done this, your so-called RS physiology is in your tips, I guess. There are certain things which you have to revise again and again in RS, like your surfactant, water composition surfactant, and and two three things like that, which if possible in further class, further discussions, I'll try to add. But as I said, this is what it is. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you for your support. And yes, if you like this video, do like, share, subscribe, and do support us for further new videos. Thanks for your presence, and it means a lot. Take care. Bye bye. See ya.